Hey everybody, it's Megadron64 here, once again, bringing you another part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. Anyways, we're gonna jump right back into the campaign here of the original series. And... Alright then. Last time we defeated Kaiba here, really epically by summoning Exodia, even though we used quite possibly the most overpowered method to get it, that being Heart of the Underdog. But anyways, now we no longer have the oh-so-overpowered, except not really, Exodia, and now we have to deal with regular cards here in our next battle. But let's not worry about let's not worry about that right now. Right now, let's worry about how I'm gonna mimic these characters. After his win against Seto Kaiba, Yugi was puzzled to receive a package from Maximilian Pegasus, the creator of Duel Monsters. Inside the box was a videotape, but nobody could play it because nobody has a VCR nowadays. Okay, no, never mind. Yugi inserted the tape into the VCR, and Pegasus' face popped up on the on the TV screen. Why did I say computer screen? Greetings, little Yugi boy. I am Maximilian Pegasus. I've heard some terribly interesting things about you. Oh gosh, no, not this type of person. Your impressive defeat of Kaiba Boy intrigued me so much that I decided to investigate your amazing dueling skills personally. Right here and now, we shall hold a special duel, and then at that point Yugi's mind just races, just jumps to so many conclusions. No, I'm just joking. Suddenly, strange arcane magic froze time so no one can move except for Yugi. And Maximilian, I guess. The Dark Dimension room right now is the Shadow Realm. Basically, the dumbest plot excuse as to why characters don't die. Never mind. A mystical place where incredible monsters can be summoned and the impossible is quite possible. Tell me, Yugi boy, do you believe there's magic in these cards? Well, I believe there's a card game called Magic the Gathering, but this isn't it. No, I'm sorry. Don't you know? You invented this game. What if I told you I didn't? Well, then we're filing for copyright. Huh? In ancient times, the Egyptians called this the Shadow Game. Powerful pharaohs would hold mystical duels in our dimensions, just as we're doing now. But instead of cards, they battled with real monsters and real magic. So in other words, it was 10 times better than the card game adaptation. The magical forces were so powerful that the Egyptians lost control of them and nearly destroyed the entire world. It's a good story, but these monsters can't be real. These monsters are very real and also quite dangerous. Yugi boy, you really are quite entertaining. The way you scowl and sneer, so defiant and yet helpless, and so completely ignorant of the power of your Millennium Puzzle. What, can you give me free McDonald's? Yugi looked down at the Millennium Puzzle that he wore around his neck. The power of my puzzle? Yes, the power of it allows you to summon McDonald's at your very whim. I swear gosh, if that was an actual thing, I feel like there were so many people out to get it. Okay, no, I'm sorry. 5,000 years ago, a powerful pharaoh locked the magic of the Shadow Games away in 7 mystical Millennium items. 7 items? You're saying that my puzzle's one of them? Yes! And there are mystical energies locked within it. Magic that could change your life forever if you only knew how to unleash it. Like mine, for example, which lets me cheat at card games. As the two dueled, it seemed that Pegasus knew every move Yugi was going to make before he did. Yeah, I just said it right there. Just lets him cheat. Despite this disadvantage, Yugi mustered all his skills and nearly won, but Yugi ran out of time when the time limit passed. Why? Why does there have to be a time limit? Why? I have taken the measures of your talents this day, Yugi boy. And when we next duel, we shall play for far higher stakes. I'm done with your games. Tisk, tisk, tisk. You presume I'm giving you a choice in the matter, but I'm not. For I also possess one of the 7 Millennium plot device. What do you call that again? Plot device, plot item, whatever. I'm just gonna call it plot device. I possess one of the 7 Millennium plot devices. The all-powerful Millennium Cheater. A Millennium Eye? That's right, Yugi boy. Here, I'll show you. Boop. Just pops out of his eye socket. I'll show you the true extent of its magic. I have found that, given the proper incentive, anyone can be made to play my game. power of the Millennium Mind lashed out and stole Grandpa's soul. Yugi could only watch in horror. Yugi! Grandpa! We will duel again, Yugi boy. How else will you ever reclaim your grandfather's soul? By beating the shit out of you? No, in a children's card game. No. Yugi had no choice but to compete in Pegasus' Duel Kingdom tournament, so he gets grandfather's soul back. Oh boy. At Duelist Kingdom, each kingdom was given 2 starships. Yes, no, I'm sorry. Each duelist was given 2 starships which they could wager against other duelists on the island. Because gambling is good, except it isn't. Whoever earned 10 starships gained entry into the tournament finals, where they would compete for the $3 million grand prize and a chance to duel Pegasus himself. And then lose horribly, probably. For his first duel, Yugi faced off against the conniving Weevil Underwood, a duelist with whom he had a bit of history. While riding on the boat to Duelist Kingdom, Weevil was an asshole and took Yugi's precious Exodia cards and threw him into the ocean, so we can never see him use it again. Good going, Weevil. So when Yugi spied Weevil on the island, he chased after him into the woods. Welcome, said Sprite-Fly. You flew right into my trap. It's time you answer for destroying my Exodia cards, Beavis Weevil.
Can't you let bygones be bygones?
I am just doing the worst Beavis. I'm not even impersonating Beavis. I gotta try harder. I'm sorry. Let me try that again.
Can't you let bygones be bygones but much?
Weevil, it's time to find out if you're as good as dueling as you are running away.
Idiot. Was I simply running away or cleverly weaving you into my web?
I cannot do a good Beavis impression. I apologize. It's time to die. Alright, I'm gonna go story deck again. That has to be the worst impression I've done throughout this entire Let's Play. It is only the 2nd episode. Okay. Well, on the bright side... Oh, I think going first. On the bright side, I don't have to worry about being as, tutorial-lastic as it was last time. And yes, tutorial-lastic is a word. I'm making a one. Alright. In case you couldn't guess here with Weevil's strategy, his mail is just send out insects, then get the perfectly ultimate great moth, which has 3k attack, sorry, 3.5k attack, but it has the dumbest summoning condition in the world. I'm not even joking about that, it's ridiculous. And before we start off here, I want to draw attention to our extra deck here, which, in case you didn't know, this is your extra deck. Here we have a fusion monster, Guy the Dragon Champion. Needs Guy the Fierce 9, Curse the Dragon. I would say that, like, most fusion cards aren't all that specific, or at the very least, like, most of them aren't this specific, but early Yu-Gi-Oh! Like in early Yu-Gi-Oh! Even the weakest fusion monsters really require very specific cards, whereas nowadays, unless it's on, like, Red Eyes or, like, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, like typically something like, what's a good example? Something like Elemental Heroes nowadays, at least, current ones. The ones back in the first generation were still very specific. But the current ones just say, one elemental hero and one water monster and such. Like, it's not that specific. But in early Yu-Gi-Oh! This is what we had to deal with. And believe me, the fusion monsters from this generation aren't that good. But, anyways, I'll get into how we fusion summon later on once we draw the card. But for the time being, let's play. I just drew it. Great. I'll get rid of this. And do I want Wasteland? Probably not. I feel like I'm gonna regret that now, though. Okay. I was about to say, I'll explain this later. Nope. Comes up immediately. As you can see, our polymerization it just says fusion summon one monster. Basically, you have to have this card and the specified monsters for the fusion card either in your hand or on the field. Now, there are a lot of other variants of polymerization that have differing effects. Like, one of them is that, like, if you're fusion summoning a Red Eyes monster or a monster that uses Red Eyes, you can just grab the materials from your deck and not have to worry about getting them out to the field or in your hand at all. But most of them also have restrictions. like again with red eyes, that only works with red eyes fusions. There's another one like what was it again? Power bonding, for example. Like that one basically it only works on machine type monsters. It doubles their attack power, but at the end of the battle phase, no, I'm sorry, at the end of the turn, I mean, you'll take damage equal to the monster's attack points. So yeah, in case you couldn't tell, fusion's a pretty key part of the game here, especially in the next generation after this one. But anyways, after that, I'm gonna set Fire Limp in defense mode and see what he does. Okay. Come on. Agreed, of course. Graceful Charity. Just getting all the draw power. Oh, crap. No. That should be alright, though. Nah, I'm not gonna bother with Mirror Force. I'm gonna wait a bit. Alright, then. Let's see what we got here. Mammoth Graveyard. Might as well do this. Whip this to this. I forgot to mention this card right here. Gives your monster 700 attack if you equip it to it. And no, I forgot. This is the really terrible one, isn't it? No, I forgot. Okay, problem with this card is that if your monster gets destroyed, this thing will return to the top of your deck. Now you might think, oh, that's good, I can reuse it. Nope. Believe me, it isn't. Because keep in mind, if you're like, you know, down your luck and you're about to lose, then you might think, oh, hey, I can probably turn this around, just do a you know, anime thing, just be like, I draw the Regeki, like you know, just think, oh, hey, I can get a good draw here and probably win. No, if this thing goes back to the top of your deck, you're gonna draw this, and then, you know, it basically puts you in a stun lock in a sense. In fact, funny thing is that, oh, darn it. A funny thing that I've seen in the past is that like an AI will use it and they'll keep using it over and over again, even though it just limits their draws. Yeah, I'm gonna use Mirror Force. Might be a bad idea because he doesn't have, you know, perfectly ultimate Great Moth or anything like that in the field. But honestly, I just... why did it have to be this thing? I'm just gonna summon Dark Magician. Now, something that we're gonna see in this battle here, if Dark Magician gets to attack, is that in this game specifically, there are certain monsters that get like 3D model attacks. Like whenever they do attack, an animation plays out featuring that monster. But you only ever see it for really important ones like Dark Magician, Blue Eyes, White Dragon, Red Eyes, I believe, gets one. Elemental Hero Neo, you know, stuff like that will typically get one. Although oddly enough, I remember that there's this one monster in the game, and I don't get why it has it, but for some reason, number 17 Leviathan has one, even though it honestly isn't that significant of a monster. I mean, it's a decent Xyz monster, and I guess Shark used it like the first episode of Zexal. But for some reason, it got a 3D model whenever it attacks. Apparently. I'm never gonna understand game design like that. Anyways, I'm just not getting lucky with the, you know, Guy the Dragon Champion fusion. Nothing really good I could draw from the deck. I mean the graveyard. Sorry, I'm not saying graveyard. They don't want to place down mana with graveyard, so I guess I'll send turn again. Alright then. Let's see. Building up a wall there. Can I draw Regeki? No. Of course not. Well, I might as well set out some tribute fodder. Okay. Let's see here. Attack this thing. I know it's just gonna give him another insect monster, but really I just don't care. I just want it out of the way. Well, that might be a problem. On birds, I took out Petite Moth. In case you're unaware, Petite Moth is the first step in making the Okay. Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. I swear to gosh. You know, I'll explain that right now, what that card is. What a Perfectly Ultimate... What is it again? Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. Yeah, that's the name of it. What that monster is, I know I already explained before, it has like 3.5k attack, and you might think, oh, hey, that's a powerful monster. That's on par with a lot of the most powerful stuff of this generation. It must have been really good back then. No. No. I'm sure that if you've ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh stuff on, you know, YouTube, that you've probably seen a bunch of, like, you know, worst monsters lists. But just let me do this, because I am on a rant today. What that card is, you need to summon Petite Moth, get Cocoon of Evolution out, equip it to it, which basically gives it... It basically just gives it 2,000 defense points so it can actually defend itself and not die instantly. And then you have to wait 8 turns. 8 turns. Specifically 8, because if you go over it, the thing won't work. If you go over 8 turns, the monsters won't summon. You have to wait 8 turns and hope that Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth is in your hand by then, because if it isn't, if it goes past 8, you can't summon it. That thing's useless. And what's worse, and the only thing that could possibly be worse than that summoning condition is the fact that it doesn't have protection at all. Oh, so darn it. It doesn't have protection on it at all. After I remember what protection means in Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe, no, it does not mean what an average person would think, no. It basically just means, like, you know, protection from card effects, like say, can't be affected by traps, can't be affected by spells, can't be destroyed in the battle phase, you know, stuff like that. Doesn't have any of that on it. And to be fair, a lot of other monsters from that time period in Yu-Gi-Oh! Were like that, where it's like they had big stats, but they didn't have any other effects on them. And in fact, most of them just had like really dumb special summoning conditions, and all they had were big stats. But the thing is, though, it's like I don't get why Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth is so bad, because to give you an example of a way better one from that era, there is Meteor Black Dragon. You know, it was from this time period, or at least I believe it was. Like you had that, you know, it had 3,500 attack, and it was just a fusion of Red Eyes and Meteor Dragon. That's not hard. That's not really hard to do. Like, keep in mind, back in that day, fusing those two together wasn't that hard, and it yielded quite possibly the third strongest monster in the game, tied with Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. Not true, it didn't have protection, but it wasn't hard to bring out at all, so that made sense. So why on earth would you make another monster with the same stat line, well, not same stat line, but, you know, same attack, but make it 10 times as difficult to summon? Ugh. I'm sorry, I just had to get that off my chest right there. I'm sorry, just that is one part of Yu-Gi-Oh! History that just baffles me to this day. Well, that and also the hair design of all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonists combined, but you know, that's another story. Anyways, we're doing pretty well here now. Oh, I nearly forgot to mention, this turn I played Monster Reborn, another banned card. Lets you special summon one monster from either player's graveyard for no cost. I think you can guess how this thing got banned. Okay. And so we're about to... Oh! This card! This card right here. This card. Okay, I know I shouldn't complain about it, because there have been plenty of times where I pull down somebody just to, you know, save my ass, but when you see that thing used against you, man, it just pisses me off. Alright, just gonna get rid of that Beetle here and bring out Rude Kaiser. How rude! Alright, so we get buffed up by force this effect. And now we wait. Again. On the bright side, I did draw Gaia, so one more card we'll have Dragon Champion. Alright. Oh no! Darn, I hate that card. That was basically every Yu-Gi-Oh player's nightmare back in the day, just running into that thing. In case you're aware, there's a flip effect monster. Whenever a monster is face down, and you know it gets flipped up either by attack or by its controller putting it into attack position, its effect will activate. And Man Earbugs is target one monster, destroy said monster. I mean nowadays it doesn't do all that much because targeting effects are pretty easily negated, but still, that's still annoying. All right. Let's see, just use this on Summon Skull. And let's just see what happens. Alright, now we can attack. Come on! Alright, so this whole thing is gonna become so much more interesting once I finally... Once we finally move on to some of the later Yu-Gi-Oh! Series and more of the mechanics that, speed up the game and get involved. Anyways, I think it's about time we finish off this. Finish off this idiot. And see ya. Woo! It's over. I've won. No! Why do I keep... I am trying my hardest to do Beavis, but for some reason my mind just keeps thinking... Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. It's like my mind keeps thinking, no, we gotta do the actual Weevil who had the dumbest voice. Screw, I'm just gonna try to do full-on Beavis. Impossible. My moth is unbeatable. Oh. Anyways, yes, as you can see, that's perfectly ultimate gray moth. Let's see. Oh no, I'm sorry. Accidentally hit buttons again. My apologies. Alright. Anyways, the next battle here is the Harpy Lady. Yugi wasn't the only duelist who was motivated to win the tournament for a loved one. Despite being a novice duelist, Joey had his own reasons for wanting to win. His sister, Serenity. I'd better be the champion for Serenity's sake. She's always counted on me, even when we were kids. I'm going to win this tournament and the prize money. I'm going to make sure you don't lose your eyesight by paying for your surgery. I promise. This meditative moment was rudely broken when Joey and his friends heard someone laughing and taunting another duelist a short distance away. A voice that I know it can only belong to my! The team met Mai Valentine, the boat to Duelist Kingdom. She was a manipulative, self-absorbed duelist who had the uncanny ability to know what card she would draw next. So it's the female version of Pegasus. I'm sorry. Hey! No, that's not it. Hey, you okay? Your duel's going well? I might be up for a duel myself, so you're ready because I could choose to challenge you, Joey. What? You challenge me? Do you have the guts to accept? I accept. Let's do. Get ready to lose. I am just doing terribly with the impressions today. I apologize. Okay, so after that gong show, me failing at trying to mimic the abridged series, let's get in here. Give me a second. Now, if I remember correctly, this duel is a complete pain because of one reason, and I'm just gonna wait for it to show up. Well, okay, two reasons, technically, but we'll get to that one when we get to it. Oh, okay, never mind then. Okay. Now, one other thing I'd like to mention here is that... Oh, good, I drew forget later. Now, for one thing, this mountain here, it's basically like Forest, except it only works on Dragon, Wind Beast, and Thunder type. It's more or less the same thing, just affects a few different types. Now, you might notice that this Harpy Dancer, but treated as Harpy Lady. Almost all Harpy cards have a similar effect where it says, if on the field, it's treated as Harpy Lady, or in the graveyard, or something like that. Yeah, while it's on the field or in the graveyard. But as you might remember from the anime, if you ever watched it, these things didn't exist back then. So for some reason, they just give Mai all these different cards that are like, hey, get these sick effects that weren't around back then, and just absolutely just crush the opponent. Wonderful. Anyways, let's play Graceful Charity. Let's see. I'll get rid of Garuzi's. Doesn't really help all that much. Now, I guess to be fair, they do kind of, mitigate the deal with Powerless by giving her quite possibly one of the worst field spells in the game. But still annoys me. Alright, gonna go with Armored Lizard. In case you're wondering, I'm gonna save Misaki, Legendary Swordsman here for a certain fusion, which is, if we look in here, we can summon Flame Swordsman. Another really terrible fusion monster from this era. But it's regarded as one of Joey's most iconic monsters, aside from Red Eyes Black Dragon, which he doesn't have yet. But anyways, more importantly, the bigger fusion here is Thousand Dragon, so once we get Baby Dragon, we're gonna summon it. I swear to gosh. It's just Flame Swordsman is a monster that I just can't stand. Like, and when I say I can't stand, I don't mean I hate it because of its terrible stats. Like, it's not one of those things where it's like, it is early Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it's to be expected. But I keep, you know, teetering between liking this monster and, oh no. That's not good. Anyways, as I was saying, I keep teetering between I like this monster and I hate this monster. Because in Yu-Gi-Oh! I hate it because it sucks. But in every other Yu-Gi-Oh! Spin-off game, it's really easily summonable and it's really helpful early game. Like in Forbidden Memories, for example, it's one of the easiest monsters to summon. It's just, you know, take a warrior and a fire, make sure neither of them are too weak, summon it, and then you get Flame Swordsman. And in games like Duelist of the Roses, where level isn't as big of a factor anymore, like it honestly becomes even more useful then. Because you can just summon it not to worry about fusion at all. So yeah, it becomes one of those situations where it's like, I like this card in certain Yu-Gi-Oh games, but in the majority ones, I hate it so much. Alright. Let's see what she does. Darn it. That could be a problem. Darn it. Darn it again. Why does she get Harpy Channeler for the first... Well, not first, but the fourth fight. No, I'm sorry, third fight technically. First was tutorial. Why is the third fight we deal with Harpy Channeler, one of the best Harpy Lady cards in the world? You're joking, right? Oh, no. Oh, do I have anything here? Nope. This bullcrap. Darn it. Like, I get the ideas that otherwise the Harpy Ladies would be too underpowered for story mode, but to make them stronger does not mean get all the stuff from like 10 years later. Seriously. Ridiculous. On the bright side, I don't think she has Harpy's pet dragon in this fight. And now watch, I probably jinx it and she does. Whatever, I'm just gonna play Regalities out here. Anyways, time to fusion summon. Polymerization! Let's go. Oh, oops, I don't want to do that. And we summon Thousand Dragon. I'm gonna be honest, one thing you'll notice about Joey in this story mode is that he has terrible cards for almost all of his fights. And the thing is though, it's like later on in the series, I think he honestly gets far better ones. But it's like in early Yu-Gi-Oh, and I mean really early Yu-Gi-Oh, it's really bad. He's gonna attack you, deal some damage. Okay. Now luckily this thing can't reactivate. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Alright. See what she does now. There we got a pretty good chance of winning here. I mean, you know, one card, what is she gonna do with that? And before you make the argument of every single Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist in the world, don't start. Let's see here. I don't really have anything useful in her graveyard I could steal. In case you're wondering why I'm mentioning that, it's because Grave Robber here effect. Its effect, I mean, you know, select one spell card from your opponent's graveyard, but you take 2,000 points of damage. Honestly, it's kind of a terrible card nowadays, because usually it's like, Like, usually spell cards are adhered to a deck's archetype, therefore it won't really work all that well in any other person's deck, unless it's something like Regeki or something, in which case, you know, anybody could use it. But I swear to gosh, in the anime, this card was ridiculous when it came to rule breaking. Because for one thing, the protagonist never had, well, not the protagonist, just Joey, I guess, since he was the only one who used it. Joey never had to pay 2,000 points, never had to deal with, like, well, actually, no, I'm sorry. What I mean is he never took damage from it, and he could use, like, traps, spells, or monsters from either player's graveyard. It was ridiculous. Like, I remember one instance, when it was Joey vs. Odeon, which we'll get to that later, where it was like, he summons it, and then... No, I'm sorry, he didn't summon Grave Robber. No, it was more so like he activates Foolish Burial, which sends something to the graveyard. Then use Grave Robber to fetch it back out, which doesn't work because first, it's not your graveyard, it's your opponent's. Secondly, it has to be a spell card, not a monster card. And third, he didn't take 2,000 points of damage. Seriously. In case anybody's wondering, yes, I do know it's because the anime was made before the card game, but I swear to gosh, I always look at that and I think, wow, how many tournaments would they be kicked out of if they used that rule set nowadays? I swear to gosh. I mean, I'm not saying it to, like, drag down the quality of the anime, because, I mean, I liked it. I liked the original anime and, you know, its modern counterparts. But I swear, gosh, every time I think back to Season 1, that is the first thing I think of. Just how many times they broke the rules and didn't care about it. I mean, Kai was allowed to, because, I mean, he can just screw the rules because he's got money, but still. Everybody else, on the other hand. Anyways, we win. And now for my terrible impressions.
How could I ever lose to such an amateur?
Maya, I tried to tell you this is more to duel monsters than just kicking the other guy's ass. I mean, but... I forgot we're dubbed by 4 kids, so we can't do that. If you're ever gonna be a real champion, you've gotta learn to care about someone other than yourself. Because clearly, the ability to win a children's card game is about how well you care about other people. Clearly. Anyways, I think we're gonna try one more duel here, and then we're gonna call it quits for this recording. Actually, no, wait. No, I'm sorry, I forgot. We're kind of running a bit low on time here. But in the next part, we'll get to facing off against the freaky fish guy and this butthead. See you guys next time.